from. Tell your girl she can kick it if she wants some, but we got no time to waste.
Welcome to 4AZ. I'm your host, Tyler McDowell Blanken. On this edition, we'll review episodes 9 and 10 of season 5 of our favorite show, Abbott Elementary. As always, we'll discuss the latest storylines and fan theories. I'm excited to welcome back Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth, it is so great to see you. We are recording this on MLK Day, so happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you and to our audience. How you been? How's the new spring semester?
Spring semester has been good. Well, we're like 2 weeks in, so it doesn't feel like a ton.
And then, checks watch. I think it's been 2 weeks. Has it been a solid 2 weeks for you?
Right. It's been a busy Arizona. So K-5 teachers have to get their literacy endorsement by 27-28, and so I sat for the exam this week. Purposely picked this week.
I totally forgot to ask you about this.
That's
you mentioned this in the DMs. Whoa, we went
well,
right.
I hadn't told you guys when I was testing. I just knew it was coming up.
Oh my gosh! In the production meeting, we covered lots of topics, but we've
got a lot going on. We haven't seen each other in a month.
It's been a minute. How did that go?
Overall, I think pretty well. I'm pretty confident. I won't get my scores for 2-3 weeks, February 6th, because it had 2 constructed response questions. And so they have to grade those. So overall, I think pretty well. I'm trying not to get 2 just in case. It was 100 multiple choice and then 2 short answer. So it was a lot. I took that Saturday morning, and my friend, we both took it Saturday morning. We were texting Saturday night, and I was like, I'm like first day of school exhausted just from having sat through that. And I was like, I did my teaching. Yeah, whenever I got, my certification, I did my K-5 elementary ed, I did special ed, and then I had to do both subtests for ELA, math, science, and social studies. So it was 2 and 2, and I've never studied until this year for a test in my life, so it was a very different experience. Not in a bad,
you just got it like that.
Some of it, yes. I've always been very lucky in test taking because, as we know from many episodes, I do great with short answer and essays.
That was a flex, Sarah Beth. I did not see that coming. You had to study for the first time.
I just never learned how to study. And then, as I've shared, I don't think I've ever shared on the pod, but I shared with you and Mike over the summer, I got diagnosed with ADHD. And so a lot of pieces started to make sense. And then I opted for meds. And so part of it was I can actually now sit down and study, because when I would try, it was up out of my seat, looking at this, study, reading a passage in the book that had nothing to do with what we were doing. So some of it, I've been very lucky. It's why I was also a late in life diagnosis, because when you do really well at school and your behaviors aren't bothering other people, they tend to be like, you're fine, you don't have ADHD. So it was a little different where I was like, I don't know how I did this without meds before. I can actually focus on the questions.
Okay, Sarah Beth, it has been a while since we had an Abbott Elementary specific podcast. I guess it's like riding a bike, right? Kind of like teaching. Really, when you come off a winter break or come off a summer, we got, I don't know why I'm riding it like Jigsaw right now on YouTube from Saw. One of my favorite horror franchises as a kid, actually. I was probably way too young. I don't know why I'm riding the bike like Jigsaw right now. But anyway, it's probably because I never ride bikes. Speaking of bikes and speaking of kids having fun and other activities we maybe did during our childhood, episodes 9 and 10 of season 5. Oh my goodness. We are now stationed at the mall. Abbott's new headquarters. Obviously, this was a big tease heading into the winter break, Sarah Beth. Episode 9 was entitled The Mall. Episode 10 entitled Mall Part 2, Questions and Concerns. Before we dive into episode 9, I want to give a shout out to one of our great viewers. Thank you to @TrueLove2283, who left us some awesome, thoughtful comments on our most recent Abbott Elementary podcast for episodes 7 and 8. Amongst True Love's comments, first they said that the review was great. So thank you, True Love. we appreciate you so much, and it's Great to have you here on the channel. We'd love to have you on the podcast anytime. Let us know. Hit us up in the DMs at 4AZTeach. Amongst other comments, True Love said, you all had some good points, but as for Janine's reconciling with her mom, I don't see that happening this season or at the wedding. The main problem is Janine's mom is selfish, unreliable, irresponsible. Yo, True Love went in on Taraji P. Henson's character. Manipulative, jealous, and emotionally immature. Talk that talk, True Love. Wow. I don't think True Love sees this happening. True Love went on to say she needs to own up to her mistakes, learn to love and support Janine, so on and so forth. So I'm still planting that seed for that Janine and Gregory wedding. I hope we get the reconciliation, and we'll see if True Love's predictions come true. Thanks again, True Love. Sarah Beth, the mall. We'll start with the description of the episode, then I want to kick it to you to hear your thoughts. The district puts the staff and students in an abandoned mall until repairs are done at Abbott. The teachers spend winter break trying to get it ready. Now, Janine tries to make it just like Abbott. Classic Big Teagues. We love her for that. The first day is chaos, but Barbara is able to rally the staff together. And one of my favorite elements of this episode, Gregory helps Dominic adjust, our favorite first-year teacher. Sarah Beth, as promised, I want to kick it to you. What did you think of Mall?
This one, I mean, not that, my classroom's in a mall, but so relatable on so many levels. Just the fact that, like, the response was, well, come in over break. They all had to end their breaks early to go set up, and I am sure they did not get paid. When Dom suggested, why can't we just do Zoom rooms? And
I put that in my notes. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the reaction from his colleagues? They busted out the they busted out the chairs. Mr. Johnson wants to tie him up. I said, Dom, come on.
Janine wanted to tie him up too. She's like, yeah. Well-intentioned, Dom, but for those of us that had to live through it, please, like, none of us want to go back to that.
That's distance learning. We are not going back. Dom, watch your mouth.
No, we try. We're not there. Your boy was back, O'Shawn.
Are we ready to get into O'Shawn corner already? I'm all ears. Talk to me.
As soon as he walked in, I was like, "Oh, Tyler!" Like,
we are so back.
I know. I was a little sad he wasn't in episode 2.
Yeah. What are we? The pacing is still so perplexing. I'm just grateful for the moments we
I have to keep reminding myself is because I want O'Shawn there, and then I remember like IT within the district, I see maybe once a week, if that, because he's at like 3 other sites. Like our IT guy is great, but I almost never see him unless I have a work order in. Because I was even thinking that just earlier this week, where I don't need a work order in. But I have a question where I'm like, oh, if I go to Mike, like Mike will be able to answer it for me quickly versus like someone having to come in and like play around. But I was like, oh, I don't want to put in a work order because he's got other stuff to do. This isn't an emergency.
Right. He said he's got 3 other schools.
He's got 3 other schools. Nothing is broken. It's a formatting on my computer issue that only bothers me and nobody else. That I was like, oh, I'll just like grab Mike like in the hall and then I was like, maybe in a month if I see him. Yeah. So to keep reminding myself that like those positions are like, there's probably a very good reason for O'Shawn never being there.
Yeah, we're fortunate at the high school. We have tech on site, but that's got to be challenging.
Yeah.
Shout out to your Mike. Shout out to Mike's stuff as well. By the way, we miss Mike on this episode. Hopefully he'll be joining us for our next Abbott recap. But O'Shawn is our favorite tech guru on screen. We do. For sure.
When was it? He said he wanted to be like go to school in a circuit city or something.
Yes. Okay. I put that in my notes as well.
Or just go to school, or if he had dreams about it.
And yeah. He said. Hold on. He said, as a kid, he dreamed of living in a circuit city. His quote was his quote to Ava, his boo, was, "Imagine a city full of circuits." With pure elation and wonder on his face. Come on, O'Shawn. You're batting 1,000 for me this season, brother.
I love how much you love O'Shawn now.
I do.
I spent so much time defending him.
Yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, Sarah Beth. That's what they say.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what they say.
Love to like just poor Dom, like that first year, it wore off real quick, and that like not wanting to get stern and not knowing. I did like his pendulum swing there, where then he's like, the claw machine you guys like, I'm gonna throw it off the roof. Because like, listen, we've all been there where we've made a threat that is kind of outlandish. Like, do I sometimes threaten with toys of like, if I take it, you don't get it back till your parents come to parent-teacher conferences? Sometimes. Do I really mean that? No. But sometimes I'm so done. And so like, but just that like figuring out, and like, he felt so defeated, which like valid, right? They had to move into a mall. The mall is not equipped. The district didn't send over anything.
Ava didn't tell parents or students which entrance to come from. So yeah, I love the moment of pure chaos when you start hearing noises from different parts of the mall and the staff look concerned, and then it's just okay. This is indicative of how this day is going to go. Utter chaos.
Utter chaos. I had a couple of moments where I had to keep checking myself and being like, it's a TV show. Like, stop. Because I was like, why would they spread out like they did? Why did they do that? Like, how is it that the mall's been abandoned, but these things, like, there was like a couple of pieces where I was like, stop it. You're like getting into the like nitpicky for no reason. Like, but I'm looking at my notes. I think for me, like where it really like hit home is how often within education decisions are made at either the state level or the district level. And then it's left to the teachers to figure it out, right? Like this decision to move into the mall was made at the district level. We did have Simon at the beginning being like, you know, and like, him being like,
that was the open for the episode.
And then the lunch is disgusting. And like, there's so much even just within moving into like that setting that like you wouldn't think about what door to enter. Why? Like it probably didn't occur to her that like they could enter through like any of the other doors. The bathroom thing where like the littles couldn't reach the toilet. And so just ones where like it really hit close to home on those, like it's really easy, like these decisions get made. And then it's left to the teachers to kind of like figure out how it works or adapt it. And then when teachers are like, hey, that's not going to work, or like, hey, we have concerns, we're usually like shut down and like no one wants to answer. And so just really feeling like that, and even just really relating to Dom a lot. Like you don't realize sometimes when you go into education how much like random stuff is the stuff that like makes you feel defeated. Right? Like it was like accumulation of things for him, right? First year, moving his classroom into a mall, he probably hadn't really already built like the relationship with his kids to like trust him and things like that. The behavior management piece. But I think what's cool is like, even though he did feel defeated, like he was ready to walk. You know, you had the one teacher that walked within the first 5, which like I didn't blame her really. When she's like, nope, I'm out. Janice.
I forgot her name. That's very impressive.
I only I wrote it down because I thought it was funny where Ava goes, Janine quit? And Janine goes, no, Janice did. And she goes, oh.
Well, and Gregory even mentions that. I think it's in the individual interview separate from Dom when he says, yeah, hey, Dom's figuring out he hasn't quit. So, you know, we're surviving out here. He's still here. He hasn't left.
That's what it is. Like there were some days where it's just like I didn't quit today, and I didn't yell at anyone. And
let's talk about it. Some days
like that is the reality of teaching. Like I think one of the things I hate is when people compare education to a business. Especially in an attempt to defend, where they're like, well, if you want like more money, you should have better tests, like run school like a business. And it's like, it's not. And we're not dealing with a client or a product. We're dealing with like real human beings with real emotions and real baggage and real everything, that like nothing is ever predictable. And it's one of my favorite things about teaching is that like, I don't know. Can I tell you like my overall content goals for tomorrow? Sure. Do I know how anything's going to play out tomorrow? A little bit now because, you know, pattern recognition and being in the game as long as I have, but like nothing ever goes. There are times I've gone in with a great idea and it did not go to the plan. There are times I've gone in with something where I was like, I think this is going to work. I can't tell you why. And the kids loved it. Like, you just never
Right.
know what's.
And how much of a blessing is it that year in, year out, week in, week out, we have the ability to modify and make those adjustments. And ideally,
Yeah.
with the support of admin, we all just accept with this work that there are some days where you're going to hit and it's going to be a triple, maybe even a home run. And there are days where you're just striking out. You're maybe 2 or 3 strikeouts for the day. And that's okay, because you get up tomorrow. Hopefully you don't leave. You get up tomorrow and it's a new day. And in the case of Dom, to your point, Sarah Beth, particularly that first year, you just got to go through some things and just through some, and not even like, oh, you got to go through some things, you got to survive, just those learning moments, and not feeling so defeated that you just don't allow yourself to see all that's on the other side of what's hard, right? Because if you and I have talked about this on and off here, if you just stick around long enough, my goodness, the relationships you create, the flowers you get, literally, figuratively, if you just show up and be consistent and, dare I say, be joyful and
some of
reliable,
it too,
you're gonna get those flowers.
Half-hour episode. Some of it too is just being honest with the kids. Like, hey, this isn't ideal. Like, hey, this is hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I have a student doing practicum work with me. And she's actually a former student of the school. She was a little bit older when I started, but like I knew her and I knew her sisters and stuff. And I was telling her, like, a lot of it, like, you don't know what you don't know. And like, for kids, because I had to go over discipline style, which I was like, that's a weird one for me, because like I try to avoid like discipline and the like common sense, right? Like, it's a lot of recognizing it's a skill deficit and like, what do we need to do to get there? And like, behavior stems from something. But I was telling her, I said, the biggest thing I've learned is like structure and routine, and then treat them like humans. You know, like, I'm very open with them about like in places where I struggle, like we're, started this whole new phonics program. And I told them from day one, hey, I didn't learn to read from phonics. I learned to read from sight. So I'm learning as we go. And so there's going to be times I mess up, and I'm asking you guys to be patient with me because I'm figuring it out. And I think that's that like beauty, is that when you treat them like humans and you're modeling for them. That's a great time for like Dom to model. I'm really frustrated and I don't know what to do. And that's okay.
Like, and if you keep talking and acting up, I'm going to throw this crane machine.
And you know what? Yeah.
Over the second floor back.
I love when you
because he's so physically imposing. I'm a bit envious, because my thought is, oh man, I've worked with so many teachers. I'm thinking, well, men and women. In my mind, I'm thinking of dudes, because we're talking about Dom, who generally, like, if you're just over 6 feet, you just have such a physical presence. I'm like, man, classroom management must be so easy for you, but it's not. It's not that simple, as you said, Sarah Beth. It's how you treat your kids and your colleagues. Even it's the expectations you set, the consistency, and our man Dom is learning that. He's getting there. Even Gregory was a little bit shook of, okay, you went from one extreme of being too much of a pushover. I know I've been guilty of that, to the far extreme of you're going to throw crane machines over second floor balconies.
And it was when he did it, I was like, before he revealed that he was going to throw it off, I was like, oh, look at him. He's probably going to do like some sort of like PBI, like reward.
Yes. Right.
was my thought. And he's like, I'm going to throw it. And I was like, you know what? Do it.
Who can do their multiplication tables? You get to try out the crane. Right? No, he's trying. He's trying
something. This is where.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm gonna throw it off the roof. And I'm like, do it. Sometimes too, they gotta see like just the
they gotta
My favorite part too is that he followed it up with, "I'm big enough to do," or like strong enough or something.
It's hard to tell from the couch, but Dom is. I mean, if we're talking his measurements, that brother's like 6 foot.
Actually, no. Now that you said it, I actually wrote this
280, 270, maybe. I mean, he's a.
No, it's funny that you actually say this, because I made a note, which I logically know Janine is not tall, right? Been following Quinta Brunson since her BuzzFeed days, and my friends used to send me her videos about like being short. Because again, I'm 4'11". But there is this moment where it's towards the beginning of the episode, and they're all out there and they're talking kind of by where like the escalators, and realizing, and because I have this moment a lot, like logically I know Janine is short, I didn't realize how short until she was compared to Gregory and Dom together. And I was like, oh, and because I have that moment of like, logically, I know I'm short, stopped growing in the 5th grade, but it's not until like I'm with someone significantly taller and I catch our reflection, or like recently I got up for a PBIS like award with our behavior teacher, and our behavior teacher and I used to co-teach back in the day. And so we had, you know, they wanted a photo for social media. So it's us. And like, I don't think I've ever seen us standing next to each other. We've worked together for 10, 11 years. Again, I know he's very tall. Our running joke, he's actually saved in my phone as the photo of Bumble, the abominable snowman from Rudolph.
That's crazy.
Specifically hanging the star in the tree, because he used to be my go-to person for hanging everything up in my room.
We love our tall friends.
Yes, like he knew, like he's still on call, but like, so it's this running joke with him. But I had never realized until he posted the photo, and I'm like, we used to stand in front of children and like co-teach.
How tall is this gentleman?
He's got to be
6'3"?
He's over 6. Yeah, probably 6'2", 6'3".
Oh,
here's the problem is you're asking me, and I have a really hard time because perception after you clear like 6 foot, I'll say you're 6'3" no matter what, because in my head, like, just like realizing that people don't see me from the same angle I see them.
Right. Wow, this is really deep, Sarah Beth. We're talking about some.
It's a weird. I've actually had this conversation with students, because a lot of them go from looking up at me to looking down at me.
Wow.
And so especially for my ones where it's like a start, where, you know, they're like 6'2", 6'3", I'll ask them, I'll be like, is it weird? And they're like, well, I didn't think about it until you said it. And now, yeah, it's weird that like I used to like look up at you. Like, it's so weird. And I don't
we have some ninth graders
very often, but every now and then.
We have some very tall.
I remember when that photo got posted, I'm like, y'all let us co-teach next to each other? Like,
yeah, that's
like,
that's
no
hilarious.
way. And the fact that, and the funny thing too, is that I was actually always the strict one. I was always bad cop. He was always a good cop. Like, every time we'd come in, and it'd be me being like Dom, where I'm like, you're never having a party again. You have to earn everything back. And then he'd be in the back, like being like voice of reason of like, I think Miss Kate is just really disappointed and we need to earn her trust back. And I'm like, never again. I'm like,
I love the synergy. I don't know if synergy is the right word based on what you described, but it sounds like you two. This was a productive, fun.
It was. We had a very good
co-teaching relationship, which makes me
we got very lucky where our strengths played off each other. So I was really good with visuals, terrible with using my words to explain it because I get too lengthy. And he was really good with like verbalizing it. And so a lot of times it'd be like me modeling something and him doing like the think aloud piece for me, or like great relationship. But again, going back just to that perspective thing, there was something about that scene where I was like, wow, she really like I know she's short, but they're also giants compared to like, it was just a weird, now that you say, I was like, I even wrote that down.
Yes, Dom has presence for sure. I'm really eager to see his journey. This episode really kind of turned the tide for me on Dom. Not that I was out on Dom by any means, but he didn't really pop for me in any episodes until Maul. And it's going back to what you said, Sarah Beth, of we can all think back to being that first year teacher and just trying to figure it out. I'm in year 7, and in many ways, I am still trying to figure it all out. But for Dom, for Dom and Gregory to see their conversation, and for Gregory to in many ways kind of what Janine's done in the past, to wear that mentor hat, not officially maybe in his title, but kind of kick game to someone new on staff. That made me really happy. Some final notes before we get into episode 10. I love that Melissa was feeling nostalgic for her 20s. Janine remains the most consistently positive member of the team. Jacob also reflecting on the perils of capitalism early in the episode. Ava is Ava-ing. I wrote in my notes throughout this 30-minute spectacle. We already talked about Mr. Johnson's quote about "let's tie him up." That's crazy. And then that's crazy. And then my final note here. Gregory's thoughts. This was maybe about halfway through the episode. Gregory's thoughts on the Philadelphia public school system. He says, and I quote, "Anything can happen at any time." I'm like, you know what? That's it's public education, but in a positive. Like, how fun is it that every day you just don't know, you don't know the joy, you don't know the joys, sometimes the challenges that way. But how fortunate are we that we get to do this work day in and day out?
The only thing you didn't mention, Daya walking out.
Die at the end.
I can't blame her. Like,
but
and also so relatable, right? She's like, I'm walking out, and then she's like, just kidding, can't afford to.
Yes.
But I'm using all my PTO because I threatened last week, because I have more PTO than I know what to do with. Thankfully, it rolls over. I threatened because I am so sick of teaching phonics because it's hard and I don't want to do it anymore. I was like, hey, how can I use all my PTO, but only for 45 minutes a day? So someone else, like, I legitimately asked our secretary, I was like, hey, can I use my PTO for 45 minutes every single day? And someone else has to come in and do phonics because it's hard and I'm tired and I'm tired of like trying to figure it out and like going to people, and it's a hard program because we have a lot of skill deficits. And she laughed. I'm like, I'm not joking. Like, if I could get approval to use 45 minutes of my PTO every day till the end of the year, I would. Like
I'm not playing.
I'm with you,
this is cognitively, this is not emotionally, this is not spiritually, this is not my favorite.
Spiritually, this is not my journey.
It's not my journey. But the honesty, like you said, the honesty to have with yourself, to have those conversations with yourself. And at times, I mean, I don't know that we tell kids, hey, this lesson today, it's not my favorite, but we're going to get through it. But I think the grace you give yourself to recognize, okay, this is not a day where I'm going to come to school sort of at my most joyful, but luckily I have
getting through it.
Yes, luckily I have colleagues I can joke with, or I can, make that walk to the parking lot at the end of the school day and remember that this is not just totally crushing my my why for being here.
The other part one, Jacob being a juggalo.
Yes, yeah, I heard that reference as well.
I love Jacob.
When Ava pointed out last thing I'll say, when Ava pointed out Daya's footwear at the very end of the episode, that scene you mentioned, kind of giving Ava saying kind of like an elf vibes. It reminded me of Black Panther, the "what are those" gif. I was like, man, we're gonna clown Daya like that, Ava. You ain't right. You ain't right, Ava Coleman. I know,
and it's one where Ava, right? Like, that's how she thinks she's expressing. Like, she doesn't, I don't think she sees as like, I'm being mean. Like, she's conditioned to do, like, that's socially acceptable for her. But also what I love is that like Daya's standing up to her being like, we're not doing this, I'm done. Right? Like, Janine hates it, but Janine doesn't really stand up to, like, it's that piece of like, I don't think Ava goes into it like, how can I hurt Daya? Or how can I hurt Janine? Because like we can tell she does genuinely like them and genuinely respect them. She just doesn't always act like it. But I think it's that like, that's how she expresses. But she doesn't realize like it's hurting them. And so I think that was also kind of like eye-opening, like, especially being like Ava's done so much character development over the seasons.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I do like that Mr. Johnson's the new Daya until Daya comes back.
Mr. Johnson always finds a way to get his quotes off, get his thoughts out there. Okay, Sarah Beth, episode 10, Mall Part 2, questions and concerns. For this episode, as the parents' questions mount of the mall school and when Abbott will reopen, Janine and Gregory can offer no answers. Ava faces the parents directly to protect the teachers. Meanwhile, Barbara and Jacob spy on Melissa when it looks like Mr. Morden is trying to steal her from their friend group. There was a lot happening in episode 10. My only notes, and then I'll kick it to you, are as follows. This has to be Sarah Beth's favorite episode of the season, in part because of how essential Melissa was to all of this. Your thoughts, Sarah Beth?
Probably favorite. I haven't thought that far in advance, but I love this episode. One, because of Melissa and the like going back to like slightly back to the 80s without really realizing it. And I can't remember in Mall Part 1 or Mall Part 2 where she's like reminiscing at like the doorway of her classroom and she starts like she's like teasing her hair without actually teasing it. And like just watching her like really reminisce on like the double D's and how like they ran the mall. And I was like, yeah, I get that. Like, it's a weird, like, I don't know, do kids hang out? Like, we hung out at the Foothills Mall back in the day before they tore it down.
I've told you about my passion for reviving Foothills Mall, right?
No.
Yeah, I'm years late to this now. My understanding is plans have already moved on with
It's already been torn down.
Okay, I clearly have not been to Tucson in so long. Okay, my thought was if I, along with any good friend that I know, this includes you, Sarah Beth, put together all of our life savings, we could revitalize Foothills Mall. When I tell you, and for our audience who is not familiar with Foothills Mall in Tucson, this is a mall that, like a lot of malls across Arizona, I'm thinking of the Metro Centers, even Metro Center, which was once like a community staple. My understanding is Foothills Mall kind of similar in the sense that it was a place where the community
staple. It's to the northwest side of Tucson.
Yes, yes. If you know, Metro Foothills, maybe that's the connection here. But my thought was, man, if we just revitalize this place, I just believe in the comeback of the American Mall. And I went to, for those who are not familiar with Foothills Mall, slowly but surely as the years went on, stores just started closing to the point where there was only a Ross, Dress for Less, and that AMC theater, and everything else in the mall was closed.
Down. Well, you had Barnes and Noble, and then
but in the greater, in the greater, yes, in the greater.
Down by Food Court, there was a Bath and Body Works that stayed open.
Okay, I've never been there. Did anyone shop there? It was scary. It was scary going into Foothills Mall because everything was shut down, and somehow you would still have those little demonic ponies that the kids were riding in episode 9. Somehow those were always in use, and people could.
It was such a crazy.
There was like an eyebrow kiosk available, but the rest of the mall was given like Stranger Things season 3 when the Demogorgons took over. We needed to fix that, but I'm too late and I didn't have enough money.
Yeah, they're turning it into like one of those like like it's got apartments.
Okay, food, well,
like
Metro Center's the same way here in Phoenix.
Yeah,
and the AMC is still there apparently.
The AMC is still there. Wow. Yeah, like it's a weird, like I definitely could relate to like Schmidt just in that like reminiscing because when I hung out at the Foothills Mall, there was a GameWorks. No, not GameWorks. GameWorks? Is GameWorks the name of where you can go and buy like video games?
You talking about GameStop?
Okay, not GameStop. So it was GameWorks. I always confuse it.
GameWorks. Okay.
There was a GameWorks, which was an arcade that was outside the movie theater.
Oh, okay.
And on the weekends, they would have like high school bands play, and you would pay like $5 or $10 for like a wristband that got you in and out of the arcade to see like different. And then like you'd randomly
have did the Mountain View High School band show up and show out? Is that what you're saying?
It would be like garage bands.
Oh, sorry, garage band. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I was just envisioning
different like high school like garage kids or like small like really small bands from like California or whatever. So it was like that's where we always run like the weekends. Especially like Friday, Saturday night. Like I think that I love a mall like just in general, but like there's no third spaces, right? Like you could go and like really not spend any money, or you could, and like we just don't have a lot of spaces for teens to just be teens where they're still somewhat like semi-safe. Like, did we get into trouble? Absolutely. Did we, know how to avoid the mall cops or know what we were supposed to say if it was past curfew?
Speak for yourself, Sarah Beth. By the way, for those who are listening, especially if I'm related to any of you, Sarah Beth is speaking for herself here. I was the perfect child, Sarah Beth.
You're a perfect angel, baby.
I never evaded law enforcement for nefarious activities. I'm being serious as well. I believe it. Okay, thank you. Okay, please continue. I just wanted to clarify that in case anyone thinks you're speaking for the podcast.
No, exactly. my views are mine. They do not represent the podcast for my district.
Can the production team put a disclaimer at the bottom here? No, Sarah Beth, I'm clearly being facetious and giving you a
I'm
hard
teasing.
time. I love the nostalgia that you felt because
Mhm.
I also had that experience watching this episode. I didn't even think about that. I was just wondering, okay, how is the Abbott staff going to make this work for the kids? How are the kids going to behave? How are they not going to lose any kids in this huge 2-story mall? But the nostalgia of,
And I think I was
wow,
telling you where I was like,
malls.
I don't hate, like, I almost like the idea of turning a mall into a school. And I was like, I can't put my finger on it. And maybe it is the like nostalgia piece of it. I don't know. There's just something about it where like the
That's a
layout and like the
that's a
pieces of a
zag.
mall makes sense. I don't hate the idea. Now I will again, if I showed up to work tomorrow and they told me I had to move everything out of my classroom today to like be ready, then yes.
To foothills if
Yeah.
it were still in existence. Yeah.
Um, though I do have to comment the Ben Franklin head.
Oh
Hated
my
it.
gosh. That
I
was my favorite. I sent you this. That was my
I know
favorite
you
one of my
did.
favorite parts of the episode. I was
I
cracking
know.
up. You didn't like
So
it?
I don't love animatronics. I have a little bit of it's a
It's a
little bit
phobia.
of a phobia, but not in all like I can go to Disney and like do the rides and be fine. But there's something about like yeah, but I also can't think too much about it. Like I can't like right like the ride is moving so I'm fine. I can't just like stop and stand and like look at an animatronic for a prolonged period of time without getting it's an uncanny valley. It makes me so uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, I would have lost it had that Ben Franklin head came down. And then I was like, like that was terrifying. Yeah, like
Wow. I well,
everything
I
about
respect your phobias.
animatronics, they freak me out.
I love the
Uh,
animatronics.
you do.
Yeah. But I also respect your phobia and
It's so
understood.
weird because again, like I can be fine with it, but like they make me so uneasy. Like it's the weird, except for underwater animatronics really do freak me out, and like there's a whole thing on it, and every now and then I screw up my algorithm on TikTok. There's like an actual name for this one. It's I can't but it's about the animatronic being like submerged in the water. I'll have to every now and then I screw up my algorithm and I end up on TikTok with videos of animatronics underwater, and it like it makes me want to vomit and cry. Like
Understood.
it's a real thing. Like there's multiple people.
I'm
who-
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your algorithm has gone.
It's
Straight
my own fault
diabolical.
because I watch one and then I have to keep watching them.
Yeah,
It's a sick
we know
thing
how it
I do.
goes.
Like,
Yeah. That doom scrolling you were talking about before the recording. That doom scrolling, Sarah Beth,
it's
it'll
a
get you.
problem. I don't know what it is. But and again, this whole like mall storyline is very like relatable, even though minus the, like the parents coming in and yelling at the teachers, like the teachers have any control, and then yelling at Ava, and it's like we're trying to get answers. Who's at fault? The district. So the district isn't giving answers. And again, like that's so relatable of like how many times people get upset with me because of a state mandate or they're upset. And I'm like, even like at work, I'm like, hey, you're mad at the principal for making the announcement, but the board voted on it. Like, be mad at the board or like be mad at like these pieces. This person made the decision. And so really, I feel like even though like so much of the episode was like funny and outlandish, again, so relatable on like the district just leaving them to deal with this mess. Like you guys figure it out, you guys fix it.
About 10 minutes ago, I meant to compliment you on your use of outlandish. What an elite word that we don't use enough. Please continue. It's phenomenal. Outlandish.
I'm going to the more, sorry, I'm still in literacy assessment mode. So we had to do a lot of like morphology of words like base word, prefix, suffix. How would you break it down?
I love it. I'm here for it. You're not here for animatronics. I am here for using the word outlandish.
There you
as
go.
Much as possible. Yeah. Morden is in this episode as well. Speaking of outlandish,
he is.
I love the side quest there, the friendship side quest.
They are. I'm a little nervous on the direction they're taking Mort's character. And we've talked about this about somebody else before. It's come up because I remember saying I don't want them to turn into a characterization of themselves, and I can't remember who it was. because like he meant like he's borderline like evil, right? Like and I get it, right? He's lonely, and so he's trying to steal Shamenti as his friend.
He has some time on his hands. He sure does.
I liked how Dom's like, well, he told I only came because he told me he'd buy me a drink, and then we got here and he said that drink was water.
Water.
And then the other girl being like, oh, I just like trivia.
Yes, right.
Where I do like worry a little bit. Like I love the rivalry and the pieces, and I loved like Shamenti standing up for where she's like, those are my friends, even when I'm mad at them. But I worry somebody. I was thinking like Boy Meets World, like the Eric, the brother, where like he got dumber over time. And like you can see like a story like from season 1 of him where he was just like the cool older brother to like the end. He was like really just dumb, that I worry a little bit with more. Or he reminds me a lot of Chang from Community. I don't know if you ever watched Community. He played the professor. And then he kind of gets this like evil storyline as it goes on, where that's my only concern. Like more, it was really funny to have him back, especially in, I think it was Small Part 1, where someone's like, more you stink or something, and they're like, he's not here. And Jacob was like, oh, I'm using natural deodorant now.
I'm using the natural deodorant.
So I'm interested to see like what happens, because I don't think Mort's character is done.
No, not at all. I was really, my last thoughts, and we'll get to Theory Corner. I was really proud of Janine and Gregory as well. I think every campus has those leaders where they maybe don't have a leadership title per se, but they are really the bedrocks of their school community. And in times of pressure, in times of dire emergency, who steps up, who really just shines. And obviously, I mean, Sarah Beth, shout out to our YouTube viewers. I have the pop figures for a reason. Our favorite couple, Janine and Gregory.
Look at Janine.
That was Christmas. I was very good last year. Thank you, Santa. I have both of them now.
So I remember
it was only right. It was only right.
You only had Gregory when we filmed last.
I only had but we leveled up. This is what we do here at F4AZ. I was very proud of them, how they are growing as individuals, how they're growing together in the context of the four walls of their classroom, or now the four walls of the mall. I don't think that is accurate, but anyway, you get what I mean. They are growing continuously, and I just love their role in this episode to support Ava and to continue trying to build trust with parents and work through difficult situations. As you mentioned earlier, Sarah Beth, with your own experience and career, difficult situations come up, and sometimes from the outside looking in, folks may think you are the one who can solve the problem, but you are just simply at times a messenger, if not just trying to do your best and uphold your duty, serving the district, serving families, serving.
And it's such a hard, right? Because all those parents just wanted what was best for their kids.
And they just wanted answers, which is valid. Yeah, everybody's valid here. Yep.
And that's something like I learned early on with education. Like, even if I don't agree with the parent or a parent's upset, a lot of times they're not upset with me. They're upset with either a perceived injustice or they just don't know what to do. And they want what's best for their kid. And so like, I think, it doesn't always mean that like it makes the communication any easier, but I think Janine and Gregory were able to understand that, right? Like they're not upset, like they're upset, but they're upset with the situation and they just want answers, and that's valid. Right. And it wasn't Ava's fault. It wasn't their fault that they couldn't give answers. They didn't have any. It did fall on the district because the district should have had answers.
Right. And they put any potential ego to the side and they just stepped up and said, okay, we're going to lead this town hall. We're going to lead this town hall with the parents at the center of the mall. And hopefully Ava will appear at some point, which she did. And proud of Ava for that.
Tariq was really back to being Tariq in this episode, which was kind of nice. Like when she's like, are you here to pick up Nick? And he's like, well, I didn't discuss that with his dad. And she's like, are you going to take him? And then he walked out. He's like, light him, or what was it? He called him my only begotten son.
Classic Tariq.
I did like Tariq's, and I thought of you just because when he told him to pull a Tyler Perry.
Oh yes.
Principal Medea Coleman.
That was crazy. Yeah, I remember that quote. Sarah Beth, do you have any theories?
Nothing new. I think we're going to see more with more in the either wanting more relationships or now we're going to get vindictive. Not sure which way. I feel like Sister Sloss is going to be coming because was it known she's on the school board, right?
Mm-hmm. She's been referenced several times.
She's been referenced on, yeah, like just them talking about her getting smacked in the board meeting.
Right.
I just noticed like a couple of things that like had been like said where I'm like, I could see them making a storyline, but I don't have any fun theories. I have a feeling you do.
I have one main one actually, and this is kind of organic. You led me here through our conversation, but it's been on my mind over the past few months, just through listening to conversations on campus and trying to get the pulse of where students are at. I am here for, I don't have any data to back this up, just purely anecdotal evidence. I really believe in the revitalization of the American mall. I'm not over that part of our conversation. And my mom, for anyone who knows my mom, she's worked in retail for many, many years since I was a kid when she was working 2 jobs to provide for us, corporate job during the day, retail at night. So I'm a bit biased in this, but from what I gather, Sarah Beth, listening to high school students, they hang out at the mall. Not all of them do. Some of them scoff when I've brought this up, but many, for our Valley audience here, anyone who lives in the greater Phoenix area, many kids will hang out at Arrowhead Mall or will mention going to this place or this. I think Arrowhead really has become kind of the last mall in our area now. Again, that Metro Center has officially closed. I really believe, like you said, in the mall being this central hub of social and cultural activity. And if we don't have malls, where do kids hang out on the weekends? And whether it's an outlet mall, I know you have one of those in Marana. Certainly there are outlet malls here. There's Westgate
The Foothills Mall.
as
Foothills
well.
Mall was an outlet mall.
This is my theory that in 2026, I really believe we're going to see some movement that malls will make a comeback. It needs to happen, especially for kids, for teenagers.
A lot of people are frustrated, right? Fully so with our bigger, Amazon, things like that, because
very convenient. Yep.
They're very convenient, but they also hold a monopoly and some of our ethics. I think people are starting to align more along the side of like the ethical side, right? Like, yeah, you're able to get it to me fast, but at what cost?
Right. Right.
I would love
the human
to see
interaction is the human interaction is trip. You remember that feeling of you go to the mall and you see your crush across the way by Cinnabon? Come on, you can't replicate.
Or you saw your best friend's crush, which was even more fun.
Okay, that's exactly. I think these moments are going to make a comeback this year. I really do.
As an extrovert, I love it. It's funny that you actually bring that up, like with the crush thing, and just how, because it's a game that has followed me well into the running joke, because you can't take me anywhere without like me running into somebody I know. Mainly because like I'm an extrovert, and so like through high school, anytime we went, I'd be stopped. And it'd always be like, well, how do you know them? And I'm like, oh, they're in second period with me, or like they're brothers in third period, whatever. And so it always became this game of like, how many times are you going to get stopped? And then like developed well into my friend Ashley that you taught with at Marana High, we used to call it, hey, Miss Kata. And so we do like over under on how many times we'd hear, hey, Miss Kata.
I love that. Over.
So, I mean, just as an extrovert, but also as someone like who is so like I love this theory because like community is so important. And I think, yes, we're looking anecdotal, but I think that if we look at like a lot of the things that are happening right now, the people that are like banding, it's the community aspect that's drawing people together. It's caring about their neighbor that's like making people stand up and, advocate and things like that. And I think malls are a great place for that, like that just community. We've lost a lot of like the third spaces and like places for people to just go and be. And so I would love to see like a resurgence of just like third spaces in general. Because that was always the beauty about the mall, right? Yes, it's capitalistic. You spend money, but like you don't have to. Half the time I showed up with maybe $5. Right. I think about like the old senior citizens who I think they still do it at the Tucson Mall where they walk laps because
it's
they
a
open
thing.
the doors.
It's a thing at Arrowhead here in Glendale too. Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because, it's got air conditioning. They open the main door is an hour before the stores open.
Right.
But again, like it's providing a community need that's not provided elsewhere. It doesn't cost the senior citizens anything. They have a safe place to walk and like those pieces. So I support your theory and I would love to see it happen. And also just there's something about like that like Shimenti and like just reminiscing on it. Like
yeah. Well, thank you for your affirmation. Speaking of one Melissa Shimenti, even though it has been a while, you know how we do things around here, Sarah Beth. We conclude every Abbott-centric episode. Well, we conclude every podcast episode with an exit ticket. It just so happens for our Abbott reviews, for our exit ticket, I have one question for you, which is, which character has earned your A+ for this 2-pack?
So for 2-pack, I'm giving it to Janine and Gregory for the A+ because they were a team, and I don't feel like for all the reasons you listed on how they've really become like leaders within, and they're the ones like helping support Gregory, helping support with Dom, Janine, how they both approached Ava and were like, hey, like we have to talk to the parents. Them being willing to go to the parents together, just a lot of pieces where they're really stepping into these leadership roles naturally because it's what's best for Abbott, not because they want to be principal or get something out of it. So I'm giving them my A+, though I do think Dom deserves a honorable mention because teaching is hard and being a first-year teacher is hard. And we know, right? Like teachers, you're more likely to walk off the job the first like 4 years because of those pieces. And so for him to have been feeling as defeated as he was for very valid reasons, for him to still be coming back and trying it again and like figuring it out does deserve recognition. But if we're looking at both episodes, it has to go to Janine and Gregory, in my opinion.
I take no issue with that choice. I might surprise you. I'm going Melissa Shimenti here for my A+. Very impressed with what Miss Shimenti did with these 2 episodes, particularly in Mall Part 2. Why would we ever question her loyalty and who she is as a friend? The side quest that Jacob and Barbara had when they thought Melissa was switching up and was leaving them effectively for Morden. You mentioned it earlier with the trivia night. That was one of my favorite aspects of this 2-pack.
So
and
good.
Melissa just being in her 80s bag, and you mentioned the teasing the hair earlier, and her just leaning into, okay, the situation is not ideal, but I'm going to enjoy this mall experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to feel nostalgic, and I'm going to connect with some new colleagues, but I'm still a real one. I'm not going to leave my crew, but I'm going to connect with my colleagues for a little bit, and then Morden and I will be enemies again, and we'll laugh about it, and I'll roast him, and we'll keep it pushing. Melissa's a real one.
She is a real one. She's a day one.
She is. Sarah Beth, this has been real. I so enjoyed seeing you. It had been way too long since we talked to Abbott Elementary. I'm glad it's back in our lives. We want to know who is earning your A+. That's right. Let us know in the comments here on YouTube, or hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn at 4AZTeach. We thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.